When I kind of come up with new work, I try to look at it from everyone's eyes and try to make it the most inclusive, sort of most, that anybody could kind of get something out of it. And that hopefully it's a positive thing.
From the studio of Rule 29, this is Design Of, a podcast about people and process. I'm Wills.
And I'm Justin.
And this is Season 4, Episode 20. Episode 20, Justin, can you believe it?
I can't. I'm excited.
How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Today's guest is one of my favorite humans in the city of Chicago, Matthew Hoffman. He's equal parts artist and designer, but he really blends the two disciplines in some really fascinating ways, which we're excited to talk about.
So without further ado, let's jump right in and hear a little bit about Matthew's early years as a kid exploring art and design.
So let's get started. Matthew, Thank you so much for having us to your studio.
Yeah.
And I was thinking on the way here, was it 2 or 3 years ago? Was it that long ago when you did that show in Geneva?
I bet it's been a while, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, time really flies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know I've been threatening to come out here and relieve you of some of your artwork. So hopefully we can accomplish some of that today. But I just kind of want to start with, as we get warmed up here, just talk a little bit about what were you like as a kid? Were you an artist? Were you creative? Like, what sort of things? Go as far back as you want. Where do you first remember, creating something?
Yeah, I think I was always a tinkerer. I was just always taking apart radios and. Like when a car broke, I never figured out how to fix them. I just took them apart, once they were broken. Then tried to find someone to help me get it all back together. But I was always interested in how things worked and how things kind of came together. And then at one point, there was a little workshop in the corner of, a little workbench in the corner of our garage. Okay. And so I started just playing around on it and messing around on it. And my dad thought I might scratch the cars, and so he suggested to look at the basement. And at that time we lived in this 150-year-old farmhouse.
Oh wow.
And so the basement was mainly a cellar. Some of the floors were dirt, the walls were made of stones with cement mud and stuff stuck into it.
It's kind of a cool creative place for how old were you at the time?
This would have been I'm kind of jumping forward. Yeah, this is 7th grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, did you think it was cool, or did you think it was dungeony?
I thought it was a little of both. And it was a sign that our family dog would stand. He would not go down there.
Okay.
He stood at the top of the stairs and just whined. Okay. And but my sister wouldn't go down there, so it was sort of my getaway. And so we would go to old tool auctions. Because we lived in rural Indiana at the time, and so there were all these sort of it was basically older people would die and they would auction off all their equipment and life, and so we would go and get the dollar buckets of the residual tools that were just left over.
You paid $1, and then whatever you got in there, right? Yeah. It's kind of exciting.
No, it was super fun, and we found all sorts of old antique stuff that probably if I would have held on to, it might be worth some money. But then my dad and I would clean them all up, and I would try to figure out how they were used or what they were used for, and I would just tear apart old radio. We would get these radios that had the old glass tubes in the back and TVs and things. And I got shocked by tons of stuff, and
but it's good. It teaches you something, right?
Yeah.
What did your dad do? What was his profession when you were during this time? Did he work with his hands or? Not
really. He what's funny was he's kind of joked that somehow it skipped a generation. His dad was very hands-on and made things, and he did I actually have it. He made a small cedar chest.
Okay.
But then stopped kind of making things with his hands. So I think that gave more to he kind of just passed everything on to me. So all his tools he had given to me, but he wanted to make sure that he didn't lose track of them, so he painted a white D on all of them. And,
for Dad?
Or Dwayne.
Okay.
And so I'll still find a tool or something here or there that has a white D, and I'll take it to him when I see him.
Now, but it sounded like he encouraged you.
Yeah.
Did he? Yeah.
Yeah, and so it was always exploration, always tinkering, always just kind of creating. And at that time too, all the trade school classes were still in schools. You know, so middle school and high school, I took wood shop and metalsmithing.
That's the best.
And so I learned a lot. And then it wasn't until I think my last year in high school, I had to take an arts class in order to get my honors diploma. And my mom made it very clear that I would be taking an arts class.
And that you were going to be getting your honors diploma.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I took this class in graphic arts, and we had block scheduling, so it was like 4 classes a day, so it was the last period of every day, so it was a double class. And learned how to use a camera, learned how to develop film, learned how to make prints in a dark room, learned how to airbrush, and then they had these crazy things, these teal G3 towers.
Wow.
And I'd never really touched a computer before, and that class basically exploded my mind, and
wow.
Everything else since then is history.
Can you remember the first time that you kind of fired up a computer and did something on it? Like, do you remember how you felt?
Well, it was really, really interesting, but also really foreign. Mm-hmm. And so it was my first time using Photoshop and freehand, if you remember.
All this freehand, yes.
And
I love freehand, actually. I thought it was great. It's not
yeah. So, but it just took forever to do things because I didn't know how to do it, and also then the programs had less capabilities.
Right, and the machines couldn't keep up with what you wanted to do.
Yeah. So, but it was really cool, and the big project that I did was I designed and made a book of all the art pieces that I had made that year.
Of course you did.
And
that makes so much sense in hindsight. Yeah.
So it was incredible that you could just do that. Mm-hmm. And we printed it out, and used a heat press and made this little hardbound book.
That's super exciting.
Yeah.
Do you still have it?
I do. It's embarrassing.
No,
it's beyond embarrassing.
No, but it's cool to look at.
Yeah.
I think I still have work I did in high school that I thought was, awesome, and then even my first college portfolio.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
Right.
But I was so proud of it at the time.
Right.
I thought, I hit the pinnacle.
Exactly. Yeah. So I went to Ball State.
Okay.
Because it was in-state, and in-state tuition was like ridiculously cheap, and so I was, so it was Ball State, IU, or Purdue, and my sister had gone to Purdue, and I don't know. I picked Ball State because before I took that arts class, we had applied the summer between my junior and senior year. So I had applied for elementary education because I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And that was a great school for that.
Okay.
But by taking that class, throughout the year, I got more and more excited about art and design, and so we actually called the school, and by the end of my senior year, I was admitted into the arts program.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I studied graphic design because, my parents were very, very supportive, but my dad said you got to make sure you get a degree that you can get a job in.
Yeah.
So basically, I just kind of just worked my tail off the whole time doing, all sorts of... I think, like, a lot of the shows and things that I did were somewhere between art, design, and pranks.
Oh, pranks. Yeah. Oh, tell me more about pranks. What do you mean pranks? Like sarcasm, commentary, or...
Well, so there wasn't a lot of excitement about the arts at the school and in other students in general that were outside of the arts program. So we did different things, like we would, like, where you go to a football game and you paint the letters on your chest.
Right. So
three of us painted art on our chest, and we told the president of the university that we needed to talk to him about something. I don't remember what our excuse was, but we got in his office with him, and we're videoing the whole time, and then we ripped off our shirts and chanted art. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, and then he did let us get a picture before he kicked us out.
So he at least had a sense of humor about him.
Yeah, and just different things like that. Like I was putting on a show. It was a group show, and no one was. Like, I had talked to a lot of people, and I'm like, you guys come to this, and like, I got class, or I got this thing, or I don't know. And so I was just like, there's just no excitement, and no one's going to come to this show. So I created a bunch of controversy about it, and then wrote to the school paper.
Hold on, you're not gonna get off that easy. What kind of controversy did you create?
I don't know. Yeah. I might prefer to. Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But basically, yeah, I created a bunch of controversy and then wrote to the paper a letter to the editor saying like, oh, we're going to boycott this show, and we hate this and stuff, and so they printed it.
Oh,
and
fantastic.
then it was like on the news, or not the city news, but the school news.
Yeah.
And it was the biggest attended show ever. I mean, the dean came, everybody came.
What was the show's theme? What was it about?
It was just a sculpture show, and that's the thing, that in the end there was nothing really
Controversial?
Yeah, and then there was a bunch of discussion about it afterwards and in everybody's classes. But the thing is, once they found out that it was all an elaborate hoax, everyone got let down and very angry with me.
Oh, no.
And so I feel like in college I did learn a lot of different things about that.
Yeah.
I did another show where I felt like it wasn't that interesting for me to just make work. So I made all this work and said that it was made by this old person who made this work in the 70s, and created this whole, like, made it very official and gallery-esque, and printed big boards and artist statements and facts about this stuff, and everyone thought that some other art group had brought the show in. And I met someone who said like it was the most inspiring show they'd ever seen, and I was like, whoa, what's funny is I did that. And you could just see it all, like, everything drained.
Just total letdown?
Yeah, and they were like, that completely ruined it for me. And so I had some hard lessons, and I feel like I learned that...
Sorry, I'm laughing at your pain
No,
right now.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny. It's funny.
I trust you've moved on from it now.
Well, what I realized is you have to... I thought I was helping... I had no evil intentions.
Right.
But the outcome was, sort of. And that what I realized is everyone needs to be in on it, and it needs to help. And so everything I've done since then, it's almost like you learn lessons the hard way to then never repeat. So everything I've kind of done since has been about building everybody up. And I'll still find ways to prank people, like the, caution tape and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not, it takes it to a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's kind of bridge that gap.
Okay.
All right, so you go to Ball State, and then how do you end up, like, what's the steps that happen between now and when you started, You Are Beautiful?
So, when I got out of school, that was 2001, and so I moved back home to South Bend, and this won't sound foreign to you, but anybody else this will sound very foreign to, but we didn't have a computer in the house.
Yeah.
So my dad would go every morning, get the Chicago Tribune, because I really wanted to get to Chicago.
Okay.
But he was like, you're not just going to go and then look for a job. Like, we can't fund your life.
Right.
You have to get a job and then move.
Right. Well, that's nice that they've even been willing to help bridge that gap a little bit.
Yeah. And so he would go every morning, get the Chicago Tribune, come back and circle classified ads, and then make me go to the library and either print out and mail in or email my resume to all these different places. And that went on for 6 months. And at that point I had literally given up.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't do this anymore.
What were you doing
so
that 6
defeating.
months besides that? Were you doing odd jobs? Were you creating anything? Were you depressed?
I was working at Meijer. In the paint, furniture, and hardware department.
For those of you who don't know what Meijer is a large grocery chain, primarily in Michigan and
Indiana,
it's in the Midwest now, I guess. Yeah.
And they've got a there's one near IKEA. I've seen. I haven't been to it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, they're in Illinois now, but I think it started in Michigan.
Yeah. So that was there was a really funny moment where they offered me a manager position. And this was about that time where I was just really getting defeated by people just wouldn't respond,
right?
My dad went and got the Tribune, found this job in Lincolnwood, Illinois, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do it anymore. And he literally forced me. I think he might have even driven me to the library to do it. and that's what got me here.
Wow. What was the job?
It was at Publications International,
Okay.
which is in Lincolnwood, and at that point it had I think like 200, 300 people,
Okay.
and when it got really big, it was up to about 500 people.
Wow.
And so I worked there 11 years.
So what did you do there?
A lot of prototyping of physical products, between sort of like we were the R&D department.
Okay.
So somebody would be like, I want to do this, but with this on it, and it's got to cost 5 cents. And so I would physically make the products, and then we would send those prototypes to China, and then we'd do a lot of revisions and things.
So this is total in your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we had to make mock-ups of products, and so I would make all the mock-ups, and we had a big warehouse where all the real products would come in and stuff, and we would always find my products in the warehouse because they looked real.
That is so cool.
So for me, it was the perfect job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, did you start You Were Beautiful while you were there?
Yeah, so it basically started when I moved. Everything kind of started when I moved to Chicago in 2002.
Okay.
So it was sort of like a nights and weekends thing for a long time.
During these nights and weekends, Matthew began to develop his vision of a new kind of art project, one that would eventually reach people all around the world. All centered around a small silver sticker that read, "You are beautiful."
What was the catalyst to start creating the stickers and that phrase, and where did that come from?
Yeah, so right then, like, street art was blossoming and really, really big. The sticker culture was really exciting. I can admit it now, but when you're in a job like that, you spend a lot of time on the internet. So you're seeing this world happening, and it's really exciting. And also saw it popping up around Chicago too. And so I thought that was really, really cool.
So when you say sticker culture, for those who may not be familiar, you're talking about like people who are creating stickers and literally just like putting them on different pieces of the environment, public stuff. Okay.
Yeah. So little characters and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
And I loved it because it's public and democratic, and you don't have to sort of enter a white cube or pay admission. And then I also loved sort of the interaction that anybody can just come across it and just a lot of people will ignore it, but so it might completely make somebody's day or something. And that was really cool. And so at that point, if you would go and put something up in the street, you might see a picture of it on a blog or Flickr or something, and that was amazing. And so that was really cool. So I started doing little things like that to kind of like just try that out. And
was it always that phrase? Did you start with the character or other things, or?
Yeah, so the main start was that phrase, and I think kind of hearkening back to like the lessons that I learned that weren't positive. I wanted to create something that I thought was true no matter what, and that no one could have a problem with, that everybody would kind of embrace as something real.
Yeah.
And I felt like that message no one could have a problem with, that it was true to everyone no matter what. So yeah, I just started making a few stickers of that and putting those up, and then also tried out different phrases in different ways. Like I got some really cool white tape, and so I would just go out and write out things with tape on walls. So a lot of things that were in that vein of street art that had no sort of damage.
As Matthew began to experiment with manufacturing the stickers, he saw the potential to create a lasting impression not only on the environments in which the stickers were placed, but on the millions of people that would encounter them.
And when you see these stickers, there's something about them that makes them really stand out from the environment.
Yeah, so the very first stickers were, I just printed off of psprint.com. And back then, like you couldn't just get whatever you wanted printed however you wanted.
Right. You had like 4 options.
Yeah. And so I went with business card size, and you had to upload a JPEG, and so they came back really pixelated. Yeah, and not even the right. Like I had one of them green because all the lampposts were green at that point, and they came like just a gross brown.
Okay.
And then I found different label manufacturers, and so like they had a gold foil starburst, and so I just put it right on that gold foil starburst because I thought it'd be fun to put on products in stores.
Yeah.
But those weren't really weatherproof, so I started looking into what weatherproof options were, and I'm sure that I saw some like either locksmiths little signs or like the emblems on machinery and things, and there, there's something about that like silverness, and so these stickers are 20-year rated outdoor, and they're actually metal, and they stick to everything. So they're really great, and they just last, because that's one thing, if you're gonna do it, like make sure it kind of lasts for a while.
It's gonna be around for a while.
Yeah, and so I like that idea that it could blend in. You might not even see it, but then right at the right moment it might pop out at you. And that first batch, I remember, was $684. And again, I was funding all of this. Because I was working a full-time job, so, I wasn't making amazing money, but, enough where I could fund this. But that one printing, screwed me up for a couple months. Yeah. And I had to figure out, like, how to pay rent and all that stuff. But, I kind of loved that. But I was starting to realize that I couldn't just, if it had kept growing, I couldn't self-fund it forever. It would just be impossible. And so at that same time, a friend of mine, Chris Silva, got a mural job at Block 37 when they were building it, and said, do you want to go in on this? And I said, well, how, what is it? And he's like, well, it's like a block long mural and we have to make it in less than a month. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. And so we made it into a You Are Beautiful mural with his birds going through, and also Mike Genovese was a part of it. And so we translated it into, I think at that point we were able to find 30 languages. So it was all the different languages. And it ended up to be there for, I think, 3 years while the building was getting built. And so in Chicago anyway, that was I think a big moment for the You Are Beautiful project, and for people beginning to like see it as a thing.
So you people start getting the stickers and they're putting them up. I'm assuming that you got feedback or got stories or examples of where people saw the sticker.
Yeah, so at that point I was, and I still prefer to be in the background, but at that point it was 100% anonymous. We actually had a big fight, not fight, but a big like debate when we were doing the mural, that I actually had my name on it, because they were like, well, we obviously want our names on it, and we think your name should be on it too. And I'm like, I've never had my name attached to it at all. I don't want that. I wanted it anonymous to be more about the message itself. And so I didn't get any direct feedback because I was kind of like, under the radar. But I would, watch blogs and photos and things. And so you would see like photos pop up and comments about it. And so that's how you could kind of get some feedback. And then the letters too. People, not only would it be a self-addressed stamped envelope, but people would send letters.
As Matthew's work continued to grow in scope and reach, he began to hear from people that had been touched by this simple message. In many ways, this small sticker became something of a movement, an expression of hope for people who were going through a rough season of life.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of the letters were, very supportive, and basically they had a lot of the same tone, that they had come across one and they had a moment, and now they wanted to kind of share that moment with other people, so they send me like 3,000 stickers and just write back like, we can only send 5, sorry. But one thing pretty early on that kind of hit me in a way that felt felt too heavy. Someone sent people used to print out photographs. They sent a printed photo of this bridge, and it was a bridge guardrail, and there was a plaque that I couldn't quite make out, and then there was a sticker above the plaque. And I guess a year ago, like, that person's friend had jumped off the bridge, and so it was a plaque, memorializing that. And she had put a sticker there, hoping that if someone else was contemplating the same thing, that they might take a minute. And it was very amazing, but also like heavy, where it was more responsibility than I was ready to take on.
As luck would have it, the closing of one door soon meant the opening of another, and this is really where the You Are Beautiful project took off.
so I had been there 11 years. Loved the people. My boss is my son's godfather. You know, the CEO and his wife came to every show that I did and bought the biggest piece. The company greatly downsized. So they let go of like 100 people and then another 100 people and then kind of kept going until it's still around and it's now, you know, not to the size it was. And so I was a part of one of those layoffs. But they kind of took me aside and said, like, you've been here for 11 years. We know that you've been like kind of working your tail off nights and weekends. And so we want to give you a year's severance to figure out how to make your dreams come true.
That does not happen.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah. So that gave me just a little moment to you know, kind of figure everything out. And so I didn't start from scratch. I think if I would have been starting from scratch, it would be much different. I might not have been able to sort of do it, but all these balls had been sort of like moving and I, you know, I kind of hit the ground running and then had a little bit of padding. And then, so as I'm walking out to my car, you know, this is one of those stories that like you literally don't believe, but it like happened. I'm walking in my car and before I open the door, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do now. Like this has been my entire life, you know, I've never worked a different job, you know, and I've gone here every day for 11 years and yeah, life's going to be a little different. And looked at my phone and it was an email from Oprah's people.
Come on.
And they were like, we want to do a story on you. And so I like sat down in the car and wrote them right back and I'm like, here's literally what's happening right now.
Yeah. I've got time. I'm now available. Yeah.
And so
because Oprah was still in the city at the time, so yeah.
And so then a few months later, we did a piece, and it aired on a Sunday morning, part of her Super Soul Sunday. And I don't know exactly what I was thinking, but I was not at all prepared. My name is Matthew Hoffman, and I'm a designer and an artist, and have been working on the You Are Beautiful project for the last 10 years. The original idea behind the project was just to create a simple, positive, affirming message, just to say you're beautiful, you're perfect as you are, like everything's okay. So I started making stickers that just had the simple message on it, and I went around and just kind of put a few up and shared them among friends. And at that point it was just like a PayPal button on the site that was like, if you want some stickers, if you want like 5 stickers, send $5. If you want, I don't know, 100 stickers, send a little bit more. If you want to help with postage, great. If you're overseas, maybe throw on a couple bucks. I mean, like that's what it said. And then there was just a thing, you just filled in an amount and then hit give money. And that piece aired. We watched it because you could stream it. Yeah. And we were like, oh my God, that's so cool. And then we started getting pings. And was like, oh, this is really, really cool. And then more and more pings. And there was like 6,000 pings in like 20 minutes. And so I took it off.
Were you
the
freaking
site.
out?
Yeah, well, there was like I don't know, like 200 stickers sitting on a shelf.
Yeah. That's all you had.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And so learned a lot again. And what I was bad at and what I didn't, so yeah, there were just these thousands of orders. You got no sort of confirmation that you had done anything. You got no confirmation from me that I know that you did something and that you're expecting something. And so I think I just tried to figure out how to get stickers printed as fast as I could, and the printer got them to me in I think 6 weeks. And I didn't really reach out to these people because I didn't really have a way to reach out to all these people. So when people are in the vacuum, they get angry.
Sure.
And so I started getting all these angry letters, and I'm going to tell Oprah on you, and I responded to the people that emailed me. And in retrospect, I should have just
put them on the page.
Yeah,
and said, hey, sorry about the over demand.
Right. Yeah. But most people were happy. And then at that point, though, too, I was just shoving stickers in envelopes and then like licking them shut or putting tape on them, and then they were like just exploding in the mail, and there were like post office all across America just full of stickers in their back room. And so I get like pictures of these envelopes just like ripped up, and so again, I learned my lessons, and now we have almost a seamless, perfect system.
So now, was the Oprah moment one of those things that you think gave you some nice runway and stability to go to like another level, or was it more just a moment and then it kind of moved on?
Yeah, I think it was an amazing moment. I think. Oh, and then they reran it for like a year.
Did they tell you when it was going to air?
No.
So some
Sundays,
your website would just blow up.
Yeah. So some Sundays, no pings. Some Sundays, a bunch of pings. Never as much as that first one.
Right.
But it was a great thing, and actually it helped through that whole year. And by that point, I was really getting. And by I think like the next time it aired, I had a full operational web store, and everything was.
You're ready to rock.
Yeah. But I think it was a great moment. I think it took things way up, and then it was a bubble, but I think it didn't come down to the same level.
Okay, so you stayed up and have been up ever since.
Yeah.
Well, that's very cool.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because I was talking to somebody recently who was writing an article, because we did a bunch of billboards out in Buffalo, and he's kind of writing an article about that, and he said he thinks that it's absolutely amazing that you've got like young street art skateboarder kids putting these up, and you've got Oprah moms putting these up on their way to brunch.
Yeah.
And that there aren't many things that sort of like are like so accepted across so many different types of people. And that I've been really excited about.
Recently, Matthew has been engaged to create murals and installations for some very large clients in visible locations. These include Apple, Zappos.
Well, hold on. Rule 29. Did I tell you this yet?
No.
Yeah, we have the incredible opportunity to have an original Matthew Hoffman in our office soon.
Oh, wow. We got to share some photos of that once we get it installed, right?
We absolutely will. But what is your favorite installation that Matthew has in the city?
Well, it's got to be our hometown heroes, Cards Against Humanity.
Oh, yeah, I love that one.
So they moved into a new building and wanted something for the wall. And I actually, to that point, I had never done anything with LED, and Max was like, try LEDs. I think that would be really, really fun.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, what do you want a Your Beautiful piece? Do you, give me some stuff that I can kind of work with. And he had said that his father had always said that to always remember that it's nice to be important, but it's also important to be nice, no matter what you do or how big you grow. And so I took that and turned it into sort of a shorter phrase that reused the middle word important. So the piece reads nice to be important, and then you reuse the important and it says important to be nice. And then it has two different sets of LEDs of two different light temperatures that you can tone in and out to say that different phrase. Yeah.
Huh. So of your installations that you've done over the last few years, do you have some favorites or any interesting stories of how they came about?
My favorite, I think, is the Go For It. I think both because of its scale, where it's at, it's just in such an interesting place, and then also kind of how it came about. So J.B. Daniel, who lives down there, asked me if I wanted to do a piece.
And where is
in Pullman.
Okay.
Which is a historic district that used to be part of this Pullman factory and then crumbled, but now is kind of having a little bit of a comeback with. That's kind of where the idea of the messaging came from too, to give a little bit of hope and inspiration. And he just went around to his neighbors and asked for money. He just said, "Do you want to chip in $100? Because we're going to make a sculpture. And if you don't want to chip in $100, do you want to come and help? Because there were a couple carpenters in the neighborhood." And so we made that piece for next to nothing. I went down there for a week.
And because you had so much help?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I went down there for a week and just stayed there. I took vacation from my work. And and we built it, and so there was no meetings, red tape. There was no reviews or
like that area, the part of the city, they were okay with it. It was all
they were
approved?
okay. We had to get permission to do it because it's a historic area and it's now a national park.
Really?
Yeah. They worked really hard on making that happen.
Okay.
And so it was supposed to be there. I think we signed just a contract that it would be there for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's been 3 years.
Okay.
And that's how a lot of how things that I do sort of operate. You just kind of get them in and say, we can take this down at any time. But most of the time, people begin to like it and accept it and love it. And so then it becomes embraced and then it won't go away. And so that piece was made of just like thin indoor plywood. And so we've had to go and restructure it a little bit. And actually, I painted it tan recently because the wood was really aging.
So let's talk about your style a little bit.
Yeah.
So you would it be fair to say it's most of your pieces are some sort of lettering style, right? Mm-hmm. So sort of your cursive lettering is what I think of most, like the Go For It and You Are Beautiful. Some of the signs you do is what inspired you behind that? Is that your handwriting? You know, did you have a process behind creating that?
Yeah, so it is my handwriting, but it's a stylized version, like a tweaked version. I can't write that nice. But I think it's just interesting that where like the Helvetica of the You're Beautiful sticker, it blends in. Anything sort of like handwritten, especially at a scale, is strange. And so it really sticks out. And I think that to have a human touch to it, you realize someone is talking directly to you.
As Matthew's work continues to reach more people, he's now developing more operational practices that will help him stay above water as he continues to grow in popularity.
Well, I think a big thing, it's probably boring to most people, but sort of like the background, again, of sort of like how we had that moment where we had no inventory and didn't know how to ship anything. We're not at that stage again, but we're at this stage where we are constantly just-in-time inventory. Like we're working hard and barely getting enough stuff done, and it's already gone before. Like by the time it hits this table, it's already needing to be shipped like a day ago.
Wow.
So working on sort of infrastructure, things like that, where I just put through my first order for 1 million stickers in one batch.
Wow.
And we're getting them pre-counted and pre-packaged, which we've never done. I've almost counted almost every single sticker.
Holy smokes.
So this will put us at 5.5 million. And so we're just doing these things in much bigger quantities. So then, of course, I have to figure out how to pay for them up front. And but then life will be so much easier. So I'm just spending a lot of time working on that. So we'll have that stuff ready to go so that when these orders come through, we're like, yeah, an order, like no big deal. Instead of like, oh no, we just got 2 big wholesale orders today. Now we're gonna have to make all this stuff. And so that's something that I'm working really hard on and really excited about. But I know it's really boring, so.
It's not boring. In an ideal world, someone comes into contact with one of your pieces. What do you hope they feel?
Well, what I've kind of always said to that is that I make things and put them out in the world, and they're very directly, they try not to tell you how to feel, but they create a moment that hopefully lets you feel something, and it maybe takes you on a really short journey or a really long journey. And whatever that is, I am totally happy with. You know, what I still enjoy is the fact that, you know, people post pictures of these stickers all the time, and then we'll get sort of like tagged in it, and then that person will respond and be like, oh my god, I had no idea this was a thing. They thought they just found a random sticker, took a picture of it, and they love that moment. And so I love that, because they don't have to know that it's some art project in Chicago and all, you know, blah 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 blah. Like that it's like there's something nice about just like creating these like moments.
It's wonderful.
Matthew, thank you so much for your time and showing us around your studio. We're going to be posting pictures of our interview and Matthew on our website, rule29.com/designofpodcast. You can keep up with Matthew by following him on Twitter and Instagram at HeyIt'sMatthew, or visit his website, heyitsmatthew.com. Huge thanks to Rule 29 for giving us the space and resources to create this show. Our sponsor for today's episode is O'Neill Printing, a commercial printer committed to bringing your vision to life with state-of-the-art technology, color, and a pioneering approach. Learn more at o'neillprint.com. O'Neill Print, made to impress.
Design of's audio engineer is Steve Wick. Hey, Steve, you are beautiful.
beautiful.
That's it for this episode. Please give us those reviews and ratings. It really helps to get our show out there. And please follow us on social media at Design of Podcast. Thanks, everyone. Have an amazing day.